The D.B. Cooper hijacking. He jumped from a plane with $200,000 and was never found. November 24, 1971, Thanksgiving Eve, a man in a business suit boards a flight from Portland to Seattle. 30 minutes later, he hands the flight attendant a note. "I have a bomb." He demands $200,000 in cash and 4 parachutes. The plane lands, he gets what he wants, releases the passengers, and orders the crew to take off again. Somewhere over Washington State, in the middle of a rainstorm at 10,000 feet, he opens the rear door, straps on a parachute, and jumps into the night. With the money. He's never found. No body, no parachute, no definitive evidence of who he was. For 53 years, the only unsolved hijacking in American history has captivated the world. This is the legend of D.B. Cooper. Act 1. The Hijacking. Wednesday, November 24, 1971, the day before Thanksgiving. Portland International Airport was busy with holiday travelers heading home for the long weekend. At Gate 52, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 was boarding for a short 30-minute hop to Seattle. Nothing special, a Boeing 727, 36 passengers, a crew of 6. Routine. Around 2:50 p.m., a man approached the counter and bought a one-way ticket to Seattle. He paid cash. He gave his name as Dan Cooper, though the media would later call him D.B. Cooper, and the name stuck. The Atkins agent described him as white male, mid-40s, around 5'10" to 6 feet tall, 170 to 180 pounds, dark brown hair, wearing a black business suit, white shirt, black tie, and brown overcoat, carrying a briefcase. Calm, polite, nondescript. Nothing about him stood out, just another businessman catching a flight. Flight 305 took off at 2:50 p.m. Cooper took seat 18C in the last row of the plane, ordered a bourbon and soda, and lit a cigarette. Normal behavior for 1971. About 20 minutes into the flight, he handed the flight attendant a note. She assumed it was his phone number. Male passengers often hit on flight attendants, and tucked it into her pocket without reading it. Cooper leaned over and said quietly, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Florence Schaffner opened the note. It read, "I have a bomb in my briefcase. I will use it if necessary. I want you to sit next to me. You are being hijacked." Trying to stay calm, Schaffner sat down next to Cooper. He opened his briefcase just enough for her to see inside. Red cylinders, wires, and what looked like a large battery. She couldn't tell if it was real, but she wasn't going to risk it. Cooper stated his demands clearly and calmly. $200,000 in cash, $20 bills, 4 parachutes, 2 primary, 2 reserve, a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane in Seattle. He told her to write this down and take it to the captain. Captain William Scott received the note. After conferring with Seattle-Tacoma Airport and Northwest Orient Airlines management, they decided to comply fully. No heroics. Give him what he wants. Keep everyone safe. For the next hour, while the plane circled Seattle waiting for the money and parachutes to be gathered, Cooper remained calm. He even returned Florence Schaffner's tip when she accidentally left it behind. Polite to the end. At 5:24 p.m., Flight 305 landed in Seattle. A Northwest Orient employee approached the plane with a bag containing $200,000 in $20 bills, 10,000 bills total, each bill's serial number recorded by the FBI. Another employee brought 4 parachutes, 2 primary sport parachutes, and 2 reserve parachutes, one of which was actually a dummy used only for training and wouldn't open, but Cooper didn't know that. Cooper released the money and parachutes, then he released all 36 passengers. They were safe. The flight attendants, however, he kept, along with the flight crew. Cooper issued new instructions. Refuel the plane, set a course for Mexico City, fly at minimum speed, around 100 knots, fly below 10,000 feet, unpressurized cabin, keep the landing gear down, and keep the rear stairs deployed. The crew tried to talk him out of the rear stairs order. It was dangerous. The stairs could break off. Cooper insisted. He knew what he was doing. Act 2. The Jump. At 7:40 p.m., Flight 305 took off from Seattle, heading south. Cooper sent the remaining flight attendants to the cockpit and closed the curtains separating first class from the main cabin. He was alone in the back of the plane. Somewhere over southwest Washington state, in the pitch-black night, in a rainstorm at 10,000 feet, Cooper did something extraordinary. He tied the bank bag containing $200,000 to his body. He strapped on one of the parachutes, he activated the rear air stair, and jumped into the night, with the money. He's never found. No body, no parachute, no definitive evidence of who he was. For 53 years, the only unsolved hijacking in American history has captivated the world. This is the legend of D.B. Cooper. Act 3. The evidence and theories. For years, the D.B. Cooper case was completely cold. No leads, no evidence, no suspects. Then, in 1980, something changed. February 9th, 1980. 8-year-old Brian Ingram was on a camping trip along the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington. While digging in the sandy riverbank, he uncovered something strange. 3 bundles of decomposed $20 bills. They were turned over to the FBI. Serial numbers matched. This was Cooper's money. $5,800 of the original $200,000, badly deteriorated but identifiable. This discovery told investigators several things. Cooper likely came down near the Columbia River. The money had been in the water or sand for years, but where was the rest of the money? Where was Cooper? Over 53 years, the FBI investigated over 800 suspects. Several emerged as strong possibilities. Suspect number 1, Richard Floyd McCoy, Jr. Just 5 months after Cooper's hijacking, McCoy hijacked a United Airlines in almost the exact same manner. Note to flight attendant, demanded money and parachutes, jumped from the plane, escaped. He was caught 2 days later. Similarities to Cooper. Ex-military paratrooper, experienced jumper, same age and build as Cooper, same MO. But problems. Physical description didn't quite match. McCoy was younger and taller. Witnesses didn't identify him as Cooper. McCoy died in a shootout with FBI in 1974, taking any confession to his grave. Suspect number 2, Robert Rackstraw. A Vietnam veteran, pilot, and explosives expert with parachute training. He had a criminal record and was known to be a con artist. Some investigators were convinced he was Cooper. In 2018, a cold case team claimed they'd proven Rackstraw was Cooper through code breaking and evidence analysis. But problems. No definitive proof. Rackstraw denied it until his death in 2019. FBI never charged him. Suspect number 3, Kenneth Christensen, a former paratrooper and Northwest Orient employee, same airline as the hijacked plane. He had insider knowledge of 727s. After the hijacking, he suddenly had money, bought a house with cash, and told family members cryptic things about the case. But problems. Physical description didn't match perfectly. He was older and smaller than witnesses described. Died in 1994 without confessing. Theory 1. He died in the jump. The most common FBI theory, Cooper didn't survive. He jumped into freezing rain in business clothes at night in wilderness. He likely hit the ground hard, died on impact or from exposure, and his body was never found, decomposed or eaten by wildlife. The money found in 1980 suggests his body may have ended up in the Columbia River, where the bills washed up on shore. Theory 2. He survived and escaped. Cooper knew what he was doing. He planned meticulously. He survived the jump, buried the money, which later washed into the river, and disappeared into a new life. The fact that none of the money ever turned up in circulation suggests he either died or was smart enough to not spend it. Theory 3. He was killed by accomplices. Maybe Cooper had help on the ground. Maybe they picked him up after he landed, but then killed him and kept the money. This explains why the money never circulated and why Cooper was never found. Act 4. the legacy, and modern developments. In 2016, the FBI officially suspended active investigation of the D.B. Cooper case. They didn't close it, they simply stopped pursuing new leads unless significant new evidence emerged. D.B. Cooper has become an American folk hero, the only hijacker who ever got away, the man who outsmarted the FBI. Movies, books, TV shows, documentaries, everyone wants to solve the mystery. In recent years, new technology has been applied to old evidence. 2011, scientists found rare particles on Cooper's tie, suggesting he may have worked in the aerospace or chemical industry. 2017, a parachute strap was found in Washington that some believed belonged to Cooper, but FBI testing was inconclusive. 2020, amateur investigators claimed they had found Cooper's parachute and potential burial site, but nothing was confirmed. Did he survive? Arguments for yes. He clearly knew about parachuting. He understood 727 aircraft. He planned everything meticulously. He chose a survivable jump scenario, no body ever found. Arguments for no. Jumping at night, in a storm, in business clothes is near suicide. He took the dummy reserve parachute, wouldn't open. Temperature and conditions were deadly. Money never circulated. Why not spend it if he lived? 53 years without any confirmed sighting. The truth is, we may never know. The wilderness of Washington state can keep secrets forever. If Cooper died on impact, his body could have decomposed or been scattered by animals decades ago. If he survived and never spent the money, he took the secret to his grave. D.B. Cooper hijacked a plane, extorted $200,000, and parachuted into legend. For 53 years, he's remained free, whether in life or death. He committed a federal crime but hurt no one. He was calm, polite, even returned a flight attendant's tip. He became a folk hero, a mystery, a legend. Somewhere in Washington state, there might be $194,200 buried in the forest. Or maybe not. Maybe Cooper spent it all and lived to old age under a different name. Or maybe he died that rainy Thanksgiving Eve in 1971 and the wilderness claimed him. If you have information about the D.B. Cooper case, the FBI still accepts tips. The case may be suspended, but it's not closed. If this legend fascinated you, subscribe to Unsolved Vault. D.B. Cooper represents the ultimate unsolved mystery. Did he make it? Or did the jump kill him? Comment below. Do you think he survived? Thanks for watching.